The 1991 version of Michael Jordan. This is probably, in my opinion, and remember it's all opinion, that 91 Jordan, Michael Jordan, was probably, for me, the best Jordan. Reason why? Because this was the year that Jordan was, built physically, like really solid. Like he was just working out, and his workout included a lot of weightlifting, but not just putting on a lot of muscle. His weightlifting routine was actually done through Tim Grover, his assistant, his trainer, and when Tim trained him, he showed Michael particular muscles that he needed to strengthen, particularly the muscles in his legs, because Michael Jordan had an injury back in 1985-86 season, so Michael didn't want to get re-injured again. And when he was facing the Detroit Pistons in 88, 89, and 90, those 3 years, if you go watch the video footage of the 88, 89, and 90 season with the Jordan rules being implemented, it was basically to beat Michael Jordan. And Jordan really had to work on his body, and he needed to be fit in all aspects of his body. And Jordan's motto was that he did not want to show the enemy his weakness. So even when he got injured, or he hurt his finger, or he injured his elbow or injured his shoulder, he would not put his hands on his shoulder or his elbow or wherever he got injured, because he did not want to show the enemy being the other team, that he was injured, because he knew that in those days the guys would purposely hit you where it hurts. If they knew you were injured somewhere, they would hit you even harder there. So basketball back in the 90s was a little bit more ruder, not kinder as it is now with the softer generation. But back then, when Jordan was playing, the 91 season of Michael Jordan was probably the best Jordan we had, because he still had airness in his game. 92, he still had airness too, but the 91, Jordan was very light. He was very light, but he was very solid, and he was just fast. And you could see, if you compare the clips of the 91 season of Michael Jordan, you can see that he's very bouncy. And by 92, he still has that bounciness, but it's getting clear that he's now getting to be 28, 29. He's hitting 29 now. And then by 93, he was 30, and that bounciness about his game was gone. He could still do awesome flashy dunks. He could get up in the air, and he was still pretty fast. That's not the thing. But the 91 was where you saw the last and the best of Jordan, where, I make my case that if he was to compete in the slam dunk contest in 91, he would probably win it. Because this time in 91, Jordan had the power in his slam. Because you could see it in certain games in which Jordan, what he would do is he would go around the defender, and he would scoop up the ball and just kind of hang in the rim. Like he would do like a reverse dunk instead of a reverse layup. He would do a reverse dunk, and he would do this many times in the 91 season. You would notice it. And then he would dunk the ball, and then he would kind of hang on the rim with that one hand. You can see bunch of highlights of Jordan doing this particular type of dunk. And then you didn't see it as much in 92 and 93. And then 96, 97, 98, it was more of a fadeaway Jordan, as we call it. But those days, the 91 season, that was probably the best of Michael Jordan. And again, a lot of people might disagree, because some people think 88 Jordan was probably the best. Some people think 87 Jordan, when he averaged like 37 points per game in the season, he was the best. But the 91 Jordan, he won a championship. He was hungry, and he was sweeping teams. Like I think they went up against the New York Knicks in the first round. What happened? He swept them. Then they played the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round, and they gave him a gentleman's sweep. And then they played the Detroit Pistons, the team that beat them 3 years in a row, and they gave him a sweep, a clean sweep. No gentleman's sweep this time. And you can tell that in that series that the Bulls were just mentally just superior, better. They matured. They didn't take any BS from Detroit this time. And Jordan just played like, he was on top of his game, and he was giving them hell basically, and Pippen too. But since we're talking about Michael Jordan here, that 91 Jordan was just on top of his game. In the playoffs, he was not leaving any stones unturned, and by the time they faced the Lakers in the finals with the Magic Johnson team, they gave him a gentleman's sweep, and in that, Jordan showed a lot of artistic acrobats, especially the famous one where he switched the hands in game 1 or game 2, I'm sorry, and then he did other type of acrobats in LA where he just did some awesome moves that when you watch it in slow motion, it just amazes you. So the 91 version of Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is the best ever, and he had a championship to go along with that. And those of us who grew up in the 90s are blessed that we saw some real good basketball. We saw some tough nose basketball. So we're just glad that we got to see it. All right, signing out. Bye bye.